another book review. Today we're talking about this one. This is The Witch of the Woods, Spells, Charms, Divination, Remedies, and Folklore by, I'm thinking this is pronounced Kiley. It's just spelled weird, but also was it the era of weirdly spelled names? Because when I was in school, we had like, I think at least 7 different ways to spell Kiley. So I'm guessing that. I could be wrong. And the last name is easy. It's just Mann, but with 2 N's. Nailed it. So the best way I can describe this book is, do you remember some of the Appalachian books we've talked about on this channel, where it's a very niche kind of writing style and like verbiage and just general vibe? It's that, but for like the northern Midwest, aka mostly upper Michigan. It's mostly folklore that I guess she's found. There's no sources. Where did it come from? Don't know. So let's be in your favor on that. And then the second half of the book is really simplistic spells that you can do. I think most of them was like 2 to maybe 5 ingredients at most. Very, very, very simple spells. I gave it a 3 and a bad 3. It is not my favorite, to be honest. It is just such a drag to get through. Like, it is so unbelievably boring. And it's trying, again, it feels like you wanted to be that Appalachian sort of culture, but for northern Michigan. And obviously I don't live there, but I have, like, my family came from there. So like, no. Maybe some areas, I don't know what particular town you're from, but like, no, it's not normal things. Like, maybe if you grew up in a heavy folklore family and like your community that you were exposed to was heavy into folklore, maybe. But it's the equivalent of Utah, everyone knowing of like Gravity Hill. Not everyone knows about that. Or knowing about like the ghost lights in Ogden Cemetery. Not everyone's gonna know that. Like, there's people who have lived here forever and still don't know. So, I don't know, it feels very like broad strokes of like, everyone does this, and it's like, is it though? And I don't know, it felt like it was trying to be that, like, again, Appalachian folks, they have a particular way that they speak and a particular way that they just like organize their words and organize like the structure and the sound and like the rhythm of how they speak. And it feels like this author wants to do that, but again, for northern Michigan and the northern Midwest, and it doesn't really work for me. Like, again, having been there, having family who lived there, grew up in various parts of that state, like, no, and again, with no sources, who knows where it's coming from? And she was very flip-floppy on concepts. One hand, just do whatever you want, like whatever feels right, just do that, but also you need to do it this way, and it has to be this way, and you have to believe it this way. It's not my thing. So let's just go over some specifics for this book, because again, it was a drag to get through, not gonna lie. So actually, I didn't have this for like a specific page, but just as a general note of the vibe of the book, is I wrote, reading is the equivalent of being behind somebody walking 3 times as slow as you would like to be going. Get to the point, move on, let's go. Do you remember that? You ever had that? If you're at like a mall or a school or whatever, and even a doctor's office, and you're like, let's go, let's move, and you're stuck behind somebody going really, really slow. And just a little part of you is just like freaking out, and you're just so annoyed, and like, the humanitarian within knows not to act upon it, but you're just like, oh my god, let's go. That's how I felt reading this book the entire time. Like, let's just get to the point, let's go. Just slow, meandering. Oh my god, just get to the point. And I don't think it was like a reading mood that I was in, by the way, because I read this and Buckland like back to back in one day. Buckland does that. He gets to the freaking point, he moves on. And I didn't even like that book either, but like, we at least got somewhere. But this one's just like trudging along. One day we'll get there, I guess. Also, I did find it ironic that in the early part of the book she's complaining about cultural appropriation and such, but then doesn't list any sources. Just found that a bit ironic. You know, like, Okay. All right, actual specifics now. So on page 18, if you take more than you require, the spirits and the lady will be angered by your greed. And I'm like, that sounds great. Does that actually work though? Because I have not seen that happen yet, especially here in the US. What do you mean? What do you mean? Greed doesn't work? What planet are you on? Because that is 1000% actually what works. So, would it be great if people weren't greedy? Sure. But could the land spirits and the lady do something about it? That would be great. Like, and I acknowledge that might be my own cynicism right now, but also, I'm gonna be real, that is one of the things that I am having to work through, is we say this stuff and it sounds great on paper, but does it actually happen in the real world? I haven't seen it work out that great. I have seen greedy people continue to be greedy and life continues to reward them. And there's other systems, there's other belief systems where energy is very neutral and it doesn't care at all. And it's just there to be used for good or bad, and it's like human brain to decide if what is good or bad. And you know, I'm kind of leaning towards that. I'm not seeing the land spirits and the ladies stepping in to stop greed. Continuing kind of on that note, this one, again, I hate when books have this. Page 35, gnomes can frequently be seen riding the backs of small animals, such as squirrels or rabbits. Genuine question. Do you ever see that? Have you ever actually seen that? Because I don't think so. Like, most genuinely, why are you writing that? Like, if you see that, are you needing to go to see a special doctor? Like, legit question. Because never and I ever have I ever seen that. Ever. Like, and again, no sources. So of course, where is this coming from? And like, again, are people actually seeing this 3D real world seeing this? Or is it in meditation? Is it a vibe? You know, I think, especially for this being kind of aimed more at like beginner witches, that can really set up standards that aren't like easily accessible. Most witches are not going to see that. Genuine question, do you see that? And have you had your brain checked out by doctors, just to be sure? On page 90, though it was a few pages within here, but this is just the page that I kind of was like, this general region. The animal activist within me was not digging this at all. So she has you using a lot of animal bones to utilize magic, and just don't do that. That's just so unethical in my opinion. I don't like it. Like, I realize it is one of those points that not everyone's going to agree with me on, but listen, you don't need to actually go have the arm of a dog to make your magic happen. You really don't. You don't need the like skull of a deer to do something. You really don't. It's just and again, like the animal activist in me worries that if you're encouraging too many people to do that, is there going to be poaching involved, and like just a lot of exploitation to just go buy it, you know? Because again, where's it coming from? Usually going to be from poachers and such. Just don't do that. And let alone the fact of like cleanliness too, because like you're not immune to things. Like, there are ways to get it clean properly, but do you know how to do that? You know, you don't need to though. You really don't. Like, to honor the spirit of like wolf in particular, there's a lot tying to wolf in particular for this book. So like, to do that, why don't you just get art that is made to look like a wolf and use that? Or just the general energy of wolf. You don't need to have an actual living animal that has died somehow that you're going to use their corpse for stuff. That just, ugh, don't do that. Some of these books, it just irks me to the highest of degrees. Like, you don't need to have animal parts in your practice to be a witch. Like, you don't need that. And again, it's such a slippery slope. In particular, trying to use wolves. Like, don't do that. Like, oh my god, it's just so unnecessary and just so gross and just, ugh. So, just didn't like it. And of course, there's no conclusion, and as I've mentioned several times, there's no sources. Where's it coming from? Who knows? At this point, Oh, I guess it depends. When was this published? 22? I don't think it was as popular, but now we're gonna have to start wondering, is it ChatGPT telling us how to do things? And other AI systems? Because that's gonna start to be a problem. Like, are they gonna start to put that in the sources? I doubt it. So we're gonna have to be very careful with our content, but honestly, I don't think ChatGPT would tell you to do this stuff. So, you know, I think it would, hopefully the robots that will take over the planet one day will tell us to be nice to things and to not see things that aren't there, you know? Again, has anyone ever really seen a gnome? Real life, IRL, right? Have you ever? Because like I haven't. Really, you have things that you could be like many paranormal things where you're like, maybe? I don't know, I don't know. I can believe in ghosts, ironically. Ghost, down for it. Gnomes? I don't know, I would love to know. Do you have this struggle too? And like, have you ever actually like 3D literally seen it as much as you would see a squirrel? Legit. Because I don't think so. Anyways, I'm very spicy today, I guess. So if you are from northern Michigan, the northern Midwest sort of region, and you want a slow, meandery kind of book, maybe you'll like it. Maybe. It was not for me. Thank you for coming along. I think somebody actually recommended this, so I'm sorry if you loved this book. I just like tore it to shreds, but like, listen, just because you told me to read a book does not mean I'm gonna enjoy it just because you told me to. So, I don't know, if you liked it, that's great. I'm glad you got something from it. It's not for me, but maybe you will. Who knows? I mean, it was really pretty. Like, the artwork and like the design layout was amazing, but the content was not for me. So, anyways, thank you for coming along. And if you want to support me on Patreon, it's patreon.com/nightwillowcrafts. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I post every single day, and until next time, blessed be.